Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mash and Drum Whiskey Room on a beautiful Whiskey Wednesday night here in the Whiskey Room. What is going on, everybody? My name is Jason C. Welcome back to the show, the live show. It is, what day we out here? Oh, my God, the time is going so fast. Oh, my God, it's June 26th already. My word. If you're hanging out here, you guys have not yet. Make sure you hit that like button below and also subscribe if you haven't yet. But for all of you, those that have, thank you for all the support. Tonight, we have a lot to go through, a lot of fun whiskeys to talk about. The year of the rye and how much that is still seemingly to continue as we get down the line. We have a couple of cool bottles we're going to try tonight. The new Riff 8-year rye whiskey. We have the Knob Creek 10-year rye, which I just got. So that'll be fun to taste through. Maybe put against a little Wild Turkey Master's Keep Triumph, see how that goes. I am planning to film a triple bass here, probably for Friday. So you'll see that thing again. So you'll see that one against Michter's 10-year, which I'll save to do that for Friday. But it'll be interesting to see the differences between the Master's Keep Triumph versus the Knob Creek 10-year. So we'll get into that a little bit. What's up? Chad Sagert is here. Let me say hi to some folks in the chat. Let's see here. Chateau Le Bar, number 1 versus 2 in the glass, says Nathan Jurgensen. There you go. Getting in on it. EJ is here. What is going on? 4-leaf whiskey. Best Bardstown Collab is for Cullen. In my totally unbiased opinion, of course, 4-leaf. Of course, that would be your favorite. Mark S., what's going on? Jose Sanchez, what's up, everyone? Michael Wilkerson, good evening, everybody. We got Andrew Bergstrom is here. We got Quentin King is here. We got Truman here. We got William Wiley's here. So, yeah, I meant to clip that for tonight, but I didn't get a chance to. Oh, poor Scotty. Ham Turkey's here. Now, this is an interesting blind. Yeah, we'll get into that blind here in a little bit. Cheers, lads. What's up? Jeffrey Jenkovich is there. Russ L. Bardstown Collab, Virginia. Great Barrel's a good one. Just got one for 80. Tim looking gorgeous is here. What's going on? Everett Jarvis. Nice to see you, Everett. Nice to see you again, man. Joey B in the house. We got Mike Daly. Jason, how about our Mets? I know the Mets are most winningest team in June, and they just beat the shit out of the Yankees. So that put a smile on my face. So thank you for that, Yankees. Appreciate it. Josh Fritz, Michael Speakerman, JG is here. Bo's Wine Guy. Yeah, let's go. Happy Whiskey Wednesday. Let's see. Tim Cornet is here. We got Paul P. Let's see. Abrod, Quentin King, Russell. Okay, let's see. More people coming in. CDL and Amroot, the best 2 collabs for sure. Okay. Smoking Firewater is here. What's going on, guys? We got Eddie B. We got Black Bourbon Family in the house. What is going on? Jason and Brandy are here. Dave Renstrom, good evening and cheers all. Sipping on a little Peerless Double Oak Rye currently. Love that bottle. Let's see. Roger Reese is here. What is going on, Raj? Nice to see you, man. E.H. Tater. Need to hurry home for a pour. I love that name. Let's see. Who else do we got? Let's see. Ben Dramon's in the house. What's going on, Ben? EMC. What's going on, Emily? Nice to see you. Butta. Tilford Flores is here. Said hi to Chad. Whiskey Bank in the house. Let's see here. Who else we got? Jeff Winbush. Wow. Whose house? Jason's house. Raise your glasses for Scott Pigsley. That is right. We will say a nice little prayer and raise our glasses to him for sure. Michael Bortner's here. Travis Robeson. Joe the Sample Guy. Dominic F. Dr. Sped. Russ L. Raise my glass for Scott Pigsley. Rest in peace. Absolutely, Jeff. What's going on? Nolan Wren. Tom Harper. And more people coming in here. So cheers, Jay. 1792 Foolproof is back on the roster. Yes. If you guys missed my video today or if you did not miss it, I admit when I was wrong. 1792 Foolproof is a bottle I will still be buying if I see a good store pick of it, because the one that I got actually from my buddy Everett Jarvis. So when I spoke about someone getting me a bottle in the video today, it was Everett. Everett hooked me up with that one, and it's delicious. So thanks again for that, Everett, and thanks for getting me a bottle of that one, because it completely flipped me. Completely flipped the entire mindset of it for me, and it was really, really good. So let's see here. Just had the new Maker's Mark, the Heart release. By far one of the greatest bourbons I've ever had, says Brian Smith. Really? Okay. So I have one of those on the way. So you'll see a review of that soon from me. But yeah, I've been hearing nothing but good things about that bottle. Now, I mean, who's to say if it lives up to all the hype? Chad Sager says Sweet Wheat still sucks. I agree. I think Sweet Wheat sucks. Doesn't suck. It just, let's just say it lacks complexity. That's how you say it. That 1792 is a beast. It gets better with air. Oh, I assume it will, Everett. So I'm looking forward to that one. 1792 foolproof non-store pick. Not worth picking up. I can't say that, Steve, because I haven't had a non-store pick in quite a long time. But I'll say this, man. I mean, if they're putting out stuff that's close to the store picks, it might be worth rolling the dice on it. To be honest, Bourbon Kingdom was not a fan of the Heart release. Yeah, but I don't think those guys are really into makers anyway. So I don't know. It's just one of those things where I don't know. I feel like you just got to try it. I'll be honest. I don't have high hopes for it because I'm just like over the wood finishing stuff from makers. Like enough's enough. Like do something new. But I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'll do a first crack or maybe second pour of it by the time I get to the review. I was hoping to have it tonight, but unfortunately it didn't deliver in time, as most things. Michael Wilkerson says, I work at BBC. Swing by sometime. Oh, yeah, Mike. Well, I'll be there a lot in September, so I'll definitely be there. Why go back to wood finishing? Yeah, Nathan. I mean, that's my thing. Like, they announced like it's going to be going away, once Jane Bowie left, and I don't know. It's just like one of those things. It's like, why keep it going? I don't know. What's new to do with the MM1 mash bill? Well, I get it, Alan Pulowski. So I feel like, yes, they do have to do these wood finishing series, but I don't know. Try like a new finishing thing. I don't know what you would do. I'm sure it's tough because it's like they have the ultra aged one now that they have. They have the cellar aged, which is a great release. Gives a lot of people a chance to taste, Maker's Mark at a higher age, and I do love that part of it. They have the Maker's 46. They have a 101. They have when you think about it, they actually do have a lot of stuff, but I don't know. When you're trying to be innovative, once you're kind of done with a specific series, once you announce it's over, I don't know. I feel like you shouldn't go back to it because then it feels like, okay, they're out of ideas. I got to go back to it, It's like when movie directors in Hollywood, they don't come out with any, original movies anymore. All they do is come out with remakes of old movies and just screw them up. So what's up? Eugene Nassif is in the house. Some of the wood finish out was pretty good for me, but with the way the rest of the industry is headed, they're getting left behind in the innovation department. Yeah, I agree. Hope they drop the cellar age soon. Yeah, we're still due for a 2024 cellar age drop. Jose Sanchez, what's a good Makers? Never had one. Honestly, if you had to, force me to pick a Maker's Mark that's like readily available, I would go with the Maker's 46 cast strength. I actually think that's probably my favorite one. The regular cast strength is okay, but I just like the French oak on the 46, to be honest. But yeah. So in the glass here, I have a sample of the Found North batch number 9. Now, this has not released yet. They sent me a sample of this, and this is being released soon. I think they're taking pre-orders for it right now. 46 cast strength is a banger. Yep. Josh Chris says there are none. I'm telling you, people have some real strong opinions about Maker's Mark for the most part. People seem to just like love it or hate it. I don't know. There's like no in between. I feel like I'm kind of in between on it, honestly, because I don't feel like I ever really love it or hate it. Kind of, in the in between there. But let's go to the bottle cam here. The bottle cam is back. There is the Found North sample. That's right. If you're reading the fine print, it does say aged 19 years. 19 years right there on top. So that is let me get to the stats of this one. And basically, Found North Batch 9. This is 19 to 26-year-old whiskeys in here, aged in Ruby Port, New American, Used American, and Hungarian oak barrels. Hungarian oak is a species of oak that they use a lot. It is 91% corn, 8% rye, and 1% malted barley. So high corn content. It's non-chill filtered, natural color, no additives, and yeah, this is their oldest batch to date, apparently. And let's see. Foundation is a triplet of 23-year-old corn components, 2 of which were aged in New American oak and 1 in bourbon barrels or used bourbon barrels. We used 2 additional 19-year-old whiskeys, 1 corn and 1 rye as well, as a 22-year-old corn and 26-year-old corn component to round out the rest of this 8 whiskey blend. Okay, so let's try it here. The only maker's worth of money is your pick, Jay. I'm just saying, says Big Vic. Yeah, our pick was pretty damn good. I did like that pick. Smoke Steve says, I found a Rip Van Winkle 10-year for $1,000. Is it a smart investment? I think not too high. Rip Van Winkle 10-year for $1,000? No way, Smoke Steve. That is not an investment. That's a robbery. A Rip Van Winkle 10-year, more than ever, you're going to get me ranting now. You're going to get me ranting on this. Look, I have blinded old Rip 10-year against some shelfers, against some other high-end bourbons, against some other stuff too. It's not one of those bottles that is the name worth some sort of money and cachet. Absolutely. But as far as the whiskey in it, I'm telling you, I have Four Roses single barrel picks that are what, $90, $100 that blow away that freaking old Rip Van Winkle. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, man. The most I would pay for a Van Winkle, straight up. Now I know the bottle is what, $100 now, maybe even less than that. Maybe $300 I'd pay for one if I came across one at a decent price, but $1,000, hell no. And that goes for Lot B. Lot B, I'd probably pay even less for it. Lot B is a glorified Weller 12, straight up. A glorified Weller 12. I've done Weller 12 versus Lot B in blinds, and sometimes I pick the Lot B, and sometimes I pick the Weller 12. It's the same proof, it's the same age, it's just that Lot B is aged in a different part of the warehouse. So we're not talking a huge difference here in Lot B versus Weller 12. Listen, I can't say I've tasted recent Lot Bs. Maybe they've gotten better. Maybe they're a step above now, but I don't own any. Everybody asks me all the time, why don't you ever do a review of like Pappy or Lot B? Because I don't own any, and I'm not willing to pay the extra prices to get them. So, and Weller 12 was underwhelming too. People treating whiskey like Beanie Babies annoys me, says James Lay. Well, that's what it's come down to, man. It's still happening. Russell's 15 has recently hit the secondary market for $850. I think the cheapest one I saw it go for was like $7.25. So the Russell's 15s have already dropped in certain play. I think it hit Wisconsin. I was tempted to pick one up, but it's like your brain wants, but your heart wants something else, and you just kind of manage that expectation. So for me, I wasn't about it. You can find all the old Rip 10s you want on secondary for $550 to $650. Yeah, but that's still too much for what it is. Yep. KC 12 over KC 12 over Weller 12 any day of the week. Any day of the week. Russell 15 secondary is disrespectful. Yep. Guys just making money on it. Yeah, I don't know. I got the Russell's 15 for $250. I feel really lucky. Damn, Dominic, you are very lucky. What's the MSRP on the Triumph? $275 MSRP. Okay. Ooh. This is very, I get a lot of the port on here for sure. Steve Nally says bourbon is for drinking, not looking. Well, yeah, he's got to ask most of the people that are waiting online at liquor stores, because most of those guys are flipping shit still. It's crazy. All those, most of those bottles that were bought at here in Ohio when they were doing the Buffalo Trace event, you know, they did some raffles for, you know, Weller Millennium and the Eagle, the double Eagle Rare double, whatever it's called, Eagle double very rare. I know I'm saying it wrong. The double Eagle very rare, something like that, whatever the hell it's called. Most of those bottles ended up being on secondary, unfortunately. So a lot of those guys that went in and bought it were just trying to flip it to make money. So, but that's what happens, unfortunately. It's the world we live in. Well, let's see once they take Knob Creek and put it in a Buffalo Trace bottle and say it's a new offering, guaranteed to be allocated in 3 weeks. I mean, that's what happens, Tom. Yeah, I did see the Father's Day Four Roses single barrel, 16-year-old. But the Four Roses drops a special Father's Day barrel, it seems now every year, and it's unbelievable. And of course, the reason why I know is because you see a lot of them on secondary, guys flipping it for like $1,000 immediately. So. Okay, so let's go through this a little bit. Yeah, this is all fruit and baking spices for sure. This to me is more like allspice and dark fruit here. Maybe some raspberry. Man, tons of vanilla. That high corn content is so vanilla heavy to me. Ooh, that's good. What do we got going on here? Wild Turkey 12-year for $200. Buy or pass for that, but I'd buy a Wild Turkey 12-year for $200. That's not bad. I've seen it for cheaper than that though. I've seen it going for like $160. All right, let's give it a try, guys. Cheers. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Wow, so it's 124.6 proof, and it drinks spicy. It's got some heat to it. And that could be a mixture of that rye that's in here. Man, that thing is potent. A buddy paid $1.99 for an Old Forester 1924. How to pour it? It's not worth that price, in my opinion, says Robert S. Completely agree. I think it's barely worth retail. Oh, man, where'd the finish go? I really like the front of the palette here and the mid palette, but the finish kind of dies a little bit. I tried a 1914 Old Dan today, a pour from the vintage library. Oh, damn, Mike. All right, Mike. Mike's just showing off now. He's like, I got a 1914 Old Dan today. It was delicious. Yeah, for sure. Have a bottle found North 9 flavor bomb, but drinks hot, says Mike Fortini. Yeah, it does drink a little hot. Like the finish I'm getting to me is just all heat. It's not really it's not like that flavorful finish that I like to get. I have until Friday to buy a Triumph for $289 out the door. Thoughts? All right, we'll get into this a little bit about Triumph, and hopefully I can answer your question, Andrew. Yeah, I don't know. This is I feel like I could appreciate the older whiskey in here, but yeah, there is a heavy ethanol alcohol type flavor here in between intertwined. It gives you a really nice burst of flavor, but after that, it goes into a little bit of a something something feels disconnected. I'm just not getting enough of all the flavors in the age. Like I want something. I feel like something more complex is supposed to happen, and it's not happening right now. You know, maybe I will add a drop or two of water here. Let's see what that does. Maybe it does need some water to open up. Good idea. Let's see. Booker's Kentucky tea for $99. Worth a shot. Kentucky tea. I like Kentucky tea. 99 is about retail. So if you're looking for a recent good Booker's, Kentucky tea is a good one to get. That might be one of the best ones that has been released recently, to be honest. How about a review of the Old Forester President's Choice? Robert, man, I wish I didn't get lucky enough to get one of those. If I were to do that, I have to go on secondary to get one. I just don't, a lot of you. That's the thing about President's Choice that kind of sucks. Unless you're in Kentucky, near there to grab one, you're kind of shit out of luck. I mean, I know they did release a couple online, but by the time you get the notification and realize that it's releasing, by the time you sign on, they are gone. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. I will say this, though. I don't know if you guys remember a while back, I tried a President's Choice sample from, maybe I could borrow their bottle. So the Bourbon Hunters, who is a, local podcast that I'm usually on a good amount, with those guys. They were lucky enough to get a 12. They got one of the 12 season Old Forester President's Choice, and I'm telling you, if I had that bottle, that particular bottle is an easy top 3 bourbon of the year so far. It was that good. I haven't had anything that good from Old Forester in a long time, and that bottle blew me away at how good it was. So. Yeah, I mean, I could do a review on that one, but it just sucks because I don't own that bottle. They have it, but it's really, really good. Yeah, already a stretch for 250. Yeah, so that's the thing. If it's 225, 250 with tax, and you're lucky enough to get an 11 season one or a 12 season one, then okay, yeah, I could see that being worth it. But there's a lot of them that are out there that are $200, $225, and they're only 7. The one I have is 7 years. But I can honestly do a review on it with the one that I have and just talk about the history of it, because it didn't exist for a long time up until they brought it back when Jackie Zykin was there. So what would you call the best Old Forester that's readily available, says Agent Oak? The best one that's readily, that's tough now, because I have 1920 has fallen off for me a lot. I if this was 3 years ago, I'd be 1920. But now 1920 is just not doing it for me right now. It's gone really banana heavy, and it used to not be like that. And I thought that's what shared it. That's what I think set it apart. Honestly, I think the best available Old Forester are the 100 proof picks. Even the barrel strength ones can be really hit or miss. But I haven't had one seemingly bad 100 proof pick. Yeah, is the proof a little bit low? But I think you get the best out of Old Forester when the proof is about 100 proof, or a little bit above. So I'd say between 100 to 110, if it's in that area, that's some really good flavors you could get in Old Forester. So I would say those 100 proof picks, to be honest. Yeah, I think Cooper's Craft, which is a Brown-Forman product, Cooper's Craft 100, is still probably the best steel that's on the shelf right now, to be honest. Yeah, it used to be chocolate cherry cola. Absolutely no one, and now that's gone. Now it's a banana bomb. I want the old profile Old Forester 1920. But if we're talking about readily available, I don't know. I'd probably go with the 1910, 1920, blend them together for the 1915 combination. Might be my favorite. Or what's a friggin' fantastic bottle is the Signature. The 100 proof Signature Old Forester is delicious for the money. Crazy. Yeah, this is good, not great. It's lacking complexity on the back end. You would think with those super rich high ages you would get a little bit more out of it, but it's not happening for me. So yeah, what was the price of that one supposed to be? Pre-orders. It just says coming soon. I would imagine this would probably be about 200-ish, 180, 100, 200-ish, I'm guessing. Yeah. Okay. All right, we'll get back to it. Thoughts on Old Forester single barrel strength rye? Dan C., I wish I had access to more of those, because the one I have is freaking delicious. I don't even know where it is, but that thing is really good. I just don't see enough of them. I don't know where you are, but yeah, I don't see them a lot. So, all right. I don't get that Old Forester love. Young, heat cycled, higher priced, man, whiskey. A good Jack 94 pick is better than 1910. And both basically the same price. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. What's up, Whiskey Nose? All right, guys. So before I forget, I do want to raise a glass to. So I don't know if you guys know, Fifth Quarter Tailgate was another channel here on Whiskey Tube. We mentioned him last week when Scott was here, and we had found out last weekend that he had lost his battle with his health issues that he was having, and he just didn't want to go through any more pain and suffering. So yeah, he decided to leave this earth and join the angels, the angel share, if you will. And he will be greatly missed. He is one of those people that was always willing to support channels, always willing to jump on, talk whiskey. He was just a super, super kind, and you could tell he just had a big heart and just always wanted to learn more. He asked me a lot of questions all the time about stuff. He was just such a great soul. And unfortunately, we lost him over the weekend. And, I just want to raise my glass and, to all his family, his friends, everybody in Whiskey Tube that knew him. Everybody kind of raise a glass to him, say a little prayer. And, we will miss you greatly, Scott. You'll always be forever, part of the Whiskey Tube family. But we will miss you, buddy. So cheers. And I'm seriously not trying to tear up here. Oh, man. Shake it off. Yeah, he was, yeah, it just sucks. He hit a pretty rough patch of health issues, and then it just got worse, and it just sucks, man. But rest in peace, Scott, man. We will miss you. Now you're with the angels. You're with the angel share where there's no more pain, no more suffering, but we will all miss you greatly, man, for sure. God bless. All right. Now that I got that out of the way and I could stop crying. Let me, where do I even go from here? Let's talk a little bit about this Knob Creek 10-year. I think I definitely been wanting to get into this one a little bit because, as I said in my Triumph review, it's the year of the rye, in my opinion. Most of the big releases that we have seen, most of this year so far, have been some really incredible rye whiskeys. And I think Jim Beam is kind of going heavy on the rye, as we've seen with So Wild Turkey with their rye, with the Triumph. They brought Russell's Reserve single barrel picks back. I mean, it's just, we've seen some other, Heaven Hill had the Parker's rye. I mean, I know that was last year, but I think more of an emphasis on rye whiskey has been happening. And I think we're seeing it even a lot more this year. Jose Sanchez says 6.7 out of 10. So he's giving me his score. Okay. Kings County, Eve's Blind, barrel strength bourbon whiskey. Anyone had this? Nope. Can't say I've had that one. Every smart person knows rye is better than bourbon anyway. Okay. I was like, oh man, this one's gonna fight me. No, it's coming right off. Wow, no exploding wax. Must be my lucky day. What is happening? I see how it goes for the 10-year stuff. They give you the good wax. All right, let's give this a go here. Because I did the Triumph review, and there was a couple folks in the comments that wrote, why am I going to buy the Triumph for $275 where I could get the Knob Creek 10-year rye, the new one, for, like $65, $70? It's a 10-year. It has the same age statement as a Triumph, and I get it. But, I try to tell folks, just because it's the same age statement and it's because it's a cheaper price doesn't make it better. It makes it better for your wallet, but I don't know. I haven't tried this yet, so let me try it first before I, cast out any judgments here. But let's see. Buffalo Trace seems to be the only big boy distillery not releasing more rye products. Yeah, that's true. Buffalo Trace has just been going heavy on the really limited products, obviously. So let's see. James Lay picked a KC rye barrel last week. Got to try it out of the barrel. 8-year, 141 proof. One of the 3 best ryes I've had. I mean, The new Riff 8-year 100% malt rye is very good this year. Yeah, that's what I got. We're gonna try this one too. It's a $150 box. Well, also, what's a point that not many people realize? Like, you get a box like that, you have less room on pallets, which means you need probably more trucks than you would for a regular release. So all that stuff adds up. But you can still make the argument. A few years ago it was still under $200. So what? All of a sudden, all that stuff went up in price. I mean, a lot of stuff has gone up in price. Let's be honest, but. Everyone else, it's the year of the rye, Buffalo Trace. Here's Weller Millennium for $7,500. Jason, have you had the Heaven Hill Select stock? And if so, what are your thoughts? I've only had a couple of them, Mike. The one of them that I had, I think, was a malt style whiskey that was really good. And then another one I had, I think, was a bourbon that was like mediocre. So I think it just depends. Availability on the KC10 rye, it's supposed to be pretty widely available. It's Beam. So you should see a good amount of this everywhere. So looking forward to it, though. Rare KC 120, Green River Full Proof Old Forester 1920, says Corey Cobb. Hey, Gary Franchise is here. And I think I saw Fancy Franchi here, too, in the chat. If you're here, Fancy Franchi, nice to see you as well. We got Kenneth Rathburn here. Oh, there she is. There's Maureen. Scott enjoying all the Angel share now. He is. Russell's rye picks are 101 rye picks because I've heard of the latter, not the former, coming back. No, Russell's reserve rye picks are coming back too because I'm picking one in August. But 101 rye picks are starting to, are coming out there for sure. All right, so for a 10-year low rye, this is definitely more on the rye side. So if I'm trying to think back to compare it to the Triumph was a lot more layered than this is so far on the nose. I want to find a 10-year rye, although the 8-year picks at 29. Hey, what's up, John Cloud? Nice to see you, buddy. What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. The Wild Turkey 101 rye picks. I hate the price for them, to be honest. I think the price, if you're not being able to try it first, it's like, okay, is it that much better than the batched 101 rye that you get on the shelf? Because when I did the picks for Ohio, most of the barrels were close to the batch product that we get on the shelf for like $20-something. Now the single barrel selects are what, $70, $80? I think that price variance is way too high. That gap is way too big, I should say, for what you get. Most of them, I don't think are worth that markup, but I think people want them because it's like the new thing that Wild Turkey is putting out, and I get that part of it. But I just feel like as you get to taste more and more of them, I feel like there's going to be a few outliers that are probably seemingly going to be worth it, that are going to be a big step above, but I don't think they're all going to be like that. Because we had a lot of choices from barrels that weren't all as good as some of the ones we picked. And if some of those make it out to the market and are $80, I think they're just going to be a little bit disappointing. It's just like an overpriced 101 rye. So, all right. So nice sweet rye on the nose, a little bit of oak, mint, caramel, vanilla. I really like that part of it. It's definitely a Kentucky rye. It's sweet. Knob Creek 10-year or Bullet 12-year rye. Oh, that's actually a good. I could grab a glass. We could do that comparison. What do you think was better, the new Little Book or the Triumph? Dude, they are completely different whiskeys. That's the thing. It's going to be a matter of whether you like really heavy rye, dill, savory type of flavors. If that's your type of rye, then it's the Little Book. If you want sweet, barely rye, almost comes off like a bourbon type of rye whiskey, then it's the Triumph. They are pretty far apart, to be honest. You said it. They will sell this year because they are new. Next year, they're going to be tough to move. I totally agree. Oh, my goodness. We got the legend in the house. It is Nancy friggin' Fraley. I've got a big package that's headed your way as of tomorrow. I'm sure you know what I mean. Nancy Fraley. I cannot wait. Nancy, you got to email me. We got to get a date lockdown for this thing we're going to be doing. I don't want to reveal too much because I cannot wait to taster all these. But guys, all of you watching, it's going to be an epic night. We have a lot of really fun stuff. It's going to be really cool. So I think I know why Nancy wants to do this, but I'm not going to reveal what I think it is or why I think she wants to do this, but it's going to be amazing. So, but yeah, it's happening. The stuff that she's sending me, she's going to be on with me as we taste through them. So you guys will get to talk to Nancy live, ask her some questions, and we're going to taste, obviously, through some amazing whiskey. So it's going to be awesome. So hell yeah. Charging that for the picks kind of defeats the original appeal of Wild Turkey. So, man, Kenneth, that's the thing that has been killing me the last few years with Wild Turkey. The thing about Wild Turkey was CJ Miller. I saw that Russell 15 hit Wisconsin. I would love to get one, but yeah, I don't live in Wisconsin, unfortunately. They all ended up on secondary for like $800. But if anybody wants one, if anyone finds one or an extra one, make sure you email me. Mash and Drum blending magic coming. Yeah, something like that. Are you saying people need to sign up for your Patreon? Something in the works? No, Henry. Nothing for that. Nothing for that. What would you spend your money on when it comes to... Oh, are they rare character single malts worth the high price tag? Is a 13-year, by the way. I love the rare character single malts. I think they're really delicious. So if I knew who's picking it and I know they pick good barrels, I would buy it. Oh, would you rather have a rare character barrel pick or a Master's Keep 10-year? I mean, depending on the rare character pick, that's probably a better value. But I would have to know what the pick is, who picked it, all that stuff. The Mash and Drum, is the KC10 rye better than a KC rye barrel pick? I don't know. You know what? Let's test a couple theories here, because I have a KC rye barrel pick that I did a while back, and that is right here. I'm going to do an impromptu triple bass here. And then I have somebody said the Bullet 12 here, so I'm going to grab that. So let's see what we get here. You know what? I could do this real quick. Let me do this. Let's do this. Let's do KC 12. Oh no, I'm sorry. KC 10. We'll do KC pick, and we'll do Bullet 12. So we'll do an impromptu. I'm not even going to taste the Knob Creek yet. Let's just see which one wins out. This will be fun. All right. I do have 3 of my stem glasses here. So all right, KC 10. We'll put on the bottom here. This is the KC pick. Put on the bottom. And we'll do the Bullet 12 year. So, all right, you guys driving the ideas. This will be good. Are you getting your hands on the old Potrero 16 year? Sounds amazing. I would like to. If that thing is able to drop online, I'll definitely get one. That's the pick. So my pick is here. CT605. These glasses, everybody always asks me about these. These are called stemmed tulip glasses, and I honestly got them on Amazon a while ago. I don't know if they were ever made available again, but they're called stemmed tulip glasses. They're also called Copita glasses, but these aren't the real Copitas that are made by I think Glen Cairn makes their style of Copita glasses. They're just like another Copita glass. That's it. So And then this is the 12. I'm sorry, the 10. I keep saying 12. All right, let's put this down here. We'll do a nice little quick triple base for everybody. I'm just going to mix these around. How much bourbon do you drink in a month? Not judging, just curious. Facts over feelings. I get that question a lot too. You'd be surprised. I don't drink as much as probably a lot of people think I would. Most of the time on weekends, unless I'm at an event or doing a pick or with friends, in bourbon and whiskey groups, I'm trying not to drink. Just to keep my palate fresh. Also, just for health reasons. I drink enough during the week. I do the reviews. I'll do a triple base, quadruple base, obviously. And then on top of that, I have my Wednesday night live streams where I drink quite a bit. So I have to really mitigate the drinking and stuff like that. It's actually one of the big reasons why this year I didn't really want to do Matt Madness, because I've been really good with drinking a lot less in between. And I just haven't really been doing a lot of blind tastings, except for really Wednesday nights and stuff like that. But I trained a lot last year, and I was drinking all the time during the week just to try to get my palate reared up for the competition. I made it to the finals, did really well, and I wasn't going to be able to do that this year, so I wasn't going to join again. So that's basically why. I'm all about that. I'm all about that base. Has a totally new meaning. Z-Biotics, man. Yeah, Z-Biotics definitely works and helps me. So that's good too. All right. So I didn't look. I mixed them up. And warm water helps for blind tasting. I usually only drink once or twice a week. Sometimes I go weeks without drinking. I really only drink with friends now. Yeah, that's basically my rule, William, when I tried, people coming over. Had a great weekend this past weekend. Went to High Bank and did a pick at Middle West. Here locally in Columbus. Absolutely amazing experiences. So, all right, let's do a quick triple base here, guys. I should have threw the new Riff 8-year in here too, but I didn't. I don't have another one of these glasses down here, so I would know what it is. Outside the star, respect the hell out of you for bringing back What's on the Shelf Wednesday. I know it's a lot of extra work, but I look forward to every episode. Yeah, people are really loving the What's on the Shelf Wednesday episodes, and I think it's very timely right now because people are sick of chasing some of the higher priced whiskeys. So Nancy Fraley, that's great, Jason. You're taking good care of yourself. It's so easy to go off the deep end in our world in this industry. Self-care is vital. Absolutely. I mean, Nancy knows better than anyone. I mean, she's been in this industry for years, and everyone values her opinion, blending, nosing. She's tasting stuff constantly, so you have to really be aware of how much your intake is. What are the top 2 to 3 distillers to visit close to Louisville? I mean, obviously Buffalo Trace is an amazing place to visit. Just the history there, and they have so many different types of tours that you could take. And if you're lucky enough to get Freddie Johnson, that makes it even better. But yeah, and they seem to be adding a little bit more and more of better bourbons to add into the tastings. So you used to only get maybe Eagle Ware was the high end, but now they've been throwing in Colonel Taylor single barrel and some other stuff in the mix. So I think Buffalo Trace is upping the ante in that space. Man, yeah, I wish Maker's Mark was closer to Louisville because that place is amazing. Yeah, Buffalo Trace, obviously Wild Turkey is amazing to see because some of those rick houses were built in the late 1800s. So you're just literally walking through history. And the bourbon is not good, but I would say Castle and Key because you're walking on the grounds that Colonel Taylor walked. So those would probably be my top 3 off the bat. Big Vic, don't lie, Jason. You just don't want to lose to me and Matt Manis. That's cool. Big Vic, give me a few months to prep, and I'll come after you. I just haven't been doing blinds. If I did a blind right now, I mean, I did. We did a blind last week, and we had a lot to drink last week. Let's be honest. So I think by the time we did that blind, my palate was shot anyway. Oh, thanks, Nancy. Appreciate it. Have a great evening. Oh yeah, Bardstown Bourbon Company. Yeah, if you're in Bardstown, that's kind of the premier place to go. CJ Miller, I'm going to 13 Colony this weekend. Any good distillers to check out in Atlanta or Chattanooga? Is Jack Daniel's Distillery worth the drive? Ask James Lay. James Lay will tell you all that stuff. All right, so first one here. Definitely very rye forward. This is just a big old slice of rye bread. Herbal, minty, black tea, spice, hint of citrus. Not a ton, though. Let's go to the second one. Ooh. Man, coming off this one, the second one has a little bit more funk going on. A little darker. Sweeter. Kind of digging that one. Oh, yeah, the Legacy Tour at Michter's in Louisville. That one's really good. That's a good call out, Everett. The Legacy Tour. Outside the star of that, Bardstown Amroot is my whiskey of the year so far. Yeah, we'll see how it does tonight in the blind. I finally got a bottle of it, so I was able. That's why I was like waiting to do this blind because I needed that Amroot bottle. Man, I like the nose on number 2 a little bit more. Let's go to 3. I don't know, number 3, number 1. Oh, wait. Actually, 1, kind of digging the sweetness on 1. This is a little bit, this is probably the breadiest out of all 3. Get a lot of rye grain here. All right, let's taste them. As far as nose, I'm probably going to go number 2. Number 2 gets the nose. So no checkpoint for number 2. This is like a live triple bass. I'm loving this. Okay, here we go. Hey, what's up, Whiskey Saint? A lot of orange on the palate. Orange, cream, vanilla, spice. Not a super long finish here. That one's drinking really light. Man, but I do like the flavors in it. One is KC10 rye. You think so, Jose? All right. We'll go number 2. Number 2 is a lot more dense. Sweeter. Much longer finish here on number 2. Yeah, number 2 definitely takes number 1 on the palate so far. I got to get to number 3. But yeah, number 2 has a lot of the notes that you want in a rye, including some of that sweetness to balance out the rye grain. Number 1 kind of comes in with just mostly rye and some sweet. Number 2 is everything is all that amplified. So all right, let's go number 3 here. This was the one that was mostly the most like rye grain forward, I think. Oh, number 3 is actually really good. Number 3 is kind of a citrus bomb to me. Again, citrus and vanilla. It's between these two. This is number 1's going to be my last place easily compared to these two. Let's find out what my last place is. This is the, not surprising, this is the Bullet 12 year. So the Bullet 12 year gets last place here for me. Again, I just think this is one of those rye whiskeys that are that's so good. It's good on its own. Once you put this against something that's a higher proof, it's just going to fall flat. And I think that's what's happening here. But I enjoy this. I enjoy this this rye. It's one of the best value ryes on the shelf, if it's still on the shelf. So, Jose Sanchez, I was wrong. Yeah, you were wrong. All right, let's see what number 2 here, 2 versus 3 here. Well, I'm digging this. I'm glad we're doing that. We got to do this more often. We got to do like I just got to like devote a segment like every Wednesday night to doing like a live triple bass with everybody. How does that sound? I think that would be pretty cool. Yeah, the Bullet 12 at like 115 proof. Oh my God. Would be so good. Two has a great balance of sweet oak, almost comes off like a bourbon. Three, I think three may have a little bit more going on the palate. I don't know. This is close. Yeah, I like the palate on two better. But I think the one thing that three might win on is the finish, though, which is interesting. This has a really nice spicy finish. All right, let's see. So this was second place. This was first place. Was number two. Let's see what we got. Wow. So, okay, this kind of makes sense. So the one that I think has the better finish is my pick. But overall, I picked the Knob Creek 10-year in the middle here. The Knob Creek 10-year has like a nice depth to it, to be honest. I'm digging that rye. That's good. This is why you do blinds. But I would say that Knob Creek picks are... Now, I believe this one is only... Let's see, this was 6. So this is only 6 years old, this pick. And 115 proof. So I think the finish on it definitely makes a lot of sense. But wow. I really dig the 10-year. The 10-year wins it on nose and I think palate, but the finish on my pick is way better. There's a big drop off, I think, on the 10-year where the finish just kind of goes, which isn't really one of my favorite. That's not really one of my favorite things. Jason Sear, the Knob Creek 10 picks only thus far. The Knob 10 picks only thus far. I'm not sure what you mean. If number two had 5 more proof points, that thing would have swept it. But I gave the finish to my pick. The 10-year is only 100 proof, which I think, unfortunately, when you put it in a blind, it definitely falls off a little bit. But interesting results. Now, do you want me to test the 10-year versus the Triumph? I know you guys do. Let me pour a little bit of the Triumph here. And we'll see how it does. So here's the Wild Turkey Triumph. Michael Speakerman was kind enough to send me this bottle to review. Yeah. Let's just, I don't want to pour too much because it's not my bottle, but I just want to get a sense, because this was the bottle. Knob Creek 10-year was the bottle that everybody in my review in the comments was saying, why am I going to buy a Triumph where I could get a Knob Creek 10-year for, way less than half the price? So Kenneth Rathburn, this is my triple bass coming up for Friday, so you will see that matchup. I'm not breaking out the Michter's 10-year yet because I want to see how it does, in the video rather than right now. But I am going to do a little preview here versus the Triumph versus the KC10, and we'll see how it stacks up here. Parker's is out of their league. Yeah, I wish I had more of the Parkers. I never got that bottle, unfortunately. But I think to be like, oh, Parkers is better, that's fine. But isn't the point to find something findable or accessible that beats out a high-priced bottle? I think Parker's Rye, as good as it is, it's out of the conversation because you just can't find those bottles. So the nose on Triumph wins easily. There's just a depth of flavor to it. There's just more going on in the Triumph. Say what you want. Remember, it's a 10-year age statement, but there's also 12-year rye mixed in here. So again, we don't know the proportions, but it is a 10 and 12-year blend. Obviously, the youngest age has to go on the bottle. Mike Bertini, what's going on with Jackie Zykin and Hidden Barn? I thought she would have made more of a significant impact, notably since her experience with Brown-Forman. I don't know. I just think the whiskey's not good. I think that's the problem with Hidden Barn. I don't think it's really anything that Jackie's doing. I just think the whiskey isn't good. So that's a problem. You could have the biggest name in the industry talking about your brand, but if the whiskey's not good, then nobody's going to buy it. So the Triumph is only 103 proof, 104 proof, but it is extremely sweet. There's a heft to it, and it's, the one knock that I'll give Triumph, and I'm still going to say it, it lacks a finish for me. Is that a $275 finish? Nope. It is not. It does not have a finish that warrants the $275 price point at all. But the front and the mid palate is delicious. Easily the best rye whiskey I've had from Wild Turkey. Now, a lot of folks said that they picked Rare Breed over this in a blind. And I could see why. It's, of course, again, it's that proof point. Rare Breed rye is 112 and change. And Rare Breed is like a brunt of force flavor on your palate. And again, this goes to that thing you got to do where proof is great. If you're a proof, whore, and I get it, and that's what you like, yes. But there are certain times where the whiskey that you're drinking, it's not, I'm not going to say it's not meant to be put up against a proofier whiskey, because it's never going to really measure up. But a whiskey like this, I just think is not going to, it's just not going to do well against a proofier whiskey. But on its own, a lot of really great flavors develop. And if you just have a proofier whiskey against it just to kind of kill it, then yeah, that's what's going to happen. He just did it to Hidden Barn, what Kendrick did to Drake. Dude, I want to love Hidden Barn because I love Jackie. And, when she was with Old Forester, she was on the channel, 3 or 4 times. So, would have loved to seen her. But I don't know. Like, they had kind of a strong start, and then a lot of the stuff was coming out. I think really that first bottle that they released was really just, it was rough. And I think that set the pace for the rest of it, and everybody was keeping that bottle at arm's length, unfortunately. All right, Knob Creek 10-year. Yeah, Knob Creek 10-year, it's good. It doesn't have the depth of flavor that the Triumph does. However, the Triumph, both of these whiskeys lack a finish, which is disappointing. But if you're just talking about front of the palate and mid palate, it's the Triumph all day long. And you could say what you want. I mean, you could say I'd rather buy Knob Creek 10-year for the price point. That's fine. But we'll see what happens in the triple base. But I think this is a much better product overall. But again, guys, it's all subjective. If you love rye whiskeys, and this is, I'll get to the question that was given to me way beforehand about would you spend $275 on this? If I wasn't a turkey head and I didn't realize kind of like the importance of Wild Turkey and what they created here, and I know a lot of people just don't give a shit about that, and I get that part of it, I'd probably say it's not worth it. But for me, I know that Wild Turkey wasn't always known as a big rye whiskey producer. It's just been getting better and better since Eddie and now Bruce has come on. So the rye whiskey has just exponentially gotten better over the last 7 to 10 years. And this is kind of a good culmination of that. And to me, I think that's why I love it and can appreciate it a little bit more. But I think, most folks don't give a shit about that. So for $275, I don't think this is a $275 whiskey. And I said that in my review. I still think it's too high. I do think I wish it was about $200 or lower. But I'll say this. If you appreciate Wild Turkey and the history and what they've done with rye whiskey and the growth of it, and you like the rye whiskey profile from Wild Turkey, you will definitely appreciate this if you roll the dice and buy it for $275. However, for the average consumer, I just don't think it's worth it. It's oaky, it's sweet, it's got heft to it. The only knock is it lacks a finish. So just leave it at that. We'll see how it does in the triple base, though. I really am curious to see how it does against the Michter's. Because the Michter's, even though it's a lower proof, has a heft to it. And I want to see how it does again. And the Michter's 10-year rye this year, which I think is it back here somewhere? Or is it on the floor? Do I have the floor whiskey? I think it's over there. It's really good this year. So we'll see. Okay. Where am I at here? Okay. So, we're just going to try another rye here. We're going to try this New Riff 8-year rye whiskey. This is New Riff, I think, does rye so good. And we're going to, there it is, folks. There's the, I got the glass right in front of that. There it is. This is the New Riff 8-year rye. So let's get into this one a little bit. And we'll see how this is. I don't know if we'll get into the old New Riffs tonight because I got a big blind tasting I got to do. So we'll save those for another time, or I just might do a full video on the old New Riffs. I have tasted those beforehand. I can tell you that the old New Riffs, they're pretty good for what they are. But when you blend them together and you make the Burai, that's where the magic happens for those two whiskeys. I'm telling you. Mass and Drum, no old Overholt in the blind. The cast strength? I mean, I could put it in there. I don't know. Again, see, that's the thing. I feel like putting the old Overholt cast strength in there, the other three will get destroyed just by the proof point. So, and that's what I mean. I feel like you could take any whiskey that's a high proof and throw it in a blind of low proofers and absolutely kill it. It's like, somebody coming up to me and being like, I put Weller 12 versus Elijah Quake Barrel Proof in a blind. I just love Elijah Quake Barrel Proof more. Well, of course you do. You got to, at some point, you got to kind of even out the proof points here a bit. How's the KC10 rye? Says Terrence McDermott. KC10 rye is good. It's good. Lacks a little bit of a finish, but it's a very good rye. Yeah, Basil Hayden rye. Yep. Did realize how Woodford Batch Proof could get grainy on the finish. Yes, it gets very grainy. It's not so much grainy, but it's also, you can kind of taste the youthfulness of it, and you can kind of taste that weird, bitter heat cycling warehouse stuff that they utilize in there. So for $300, would you rather take Triumph or Kentucky Owl Rye? If Kentucky Owl Rye was still around, I'd probably go Kentucky Owl Rye, to be honest, because that thing had a long finish, if I remember correctly. All right, let's get into a couple news stories here before I forget. Speaking of Michter's, look what was just announced, guys. Michter's announces the 2024 Legacy Series, composed of two of its most under-the-radar whiskeys. You guys feel like these are under the radar? That's what this article says. Michter's, the wildly popular American whiskey brand, announced the 2024 release of its Legacy Series, which holds its two most under-the-radar expressions. So under the radar are these two bottlings that many whiskey drinkers have no idea that they're affiliated with Michter's. I do agree with that. The release is composed of Shank's Homestead Kentucky Sour Mash Whiskey and Baumberger's Declaration Kentucky Straight Bourbon. Neither bottle prominently displays the Michter's name, which has led some whiskey enthusiasts to refer to these releases as secret Michters. That I can't say I've ever heard. Each Shanks Homestead and Bombergers differ from prior releases, which means less consistency, but more excitement for each release. All right, so this year's Shanks is bottled at 91.2 proof and has a suggested retail of $110. Bombergers is more powerful, excuse me, in terms of ABV at 108 proof, with a suggested retail price of $120. Now, the Shanks this year incorporated caramel malt in its mash bill for the first time, paired with a rye and a malted rye mash bill. Oh, that's kind of cool. According to Michter's master distiller Dan McKee, the caramel malt adds a nice creaminess to complement the whiskey's herbaceous qualities and notes of spice. Some of the barrels used to age the whiskey were made of wood sourced from the Vosges region of France. I think that's what they used in the Bombergers last year, even the Shanks too. That sounds familiar. The barrels were air dried and seasoned for 2 years before being toasted in Michter's trademark style. Now, this year's Bombergers release also includes malted rye in its mash bill. According to Michter's, the Chinquapin oak was air dried and seasoned outdoors for 3 years before being toasted and charred. Both whiskeys are named for previous iterations of the original Michter's. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, all that stuff. So, again, I agree that I think those are two very underrated, very underrated releases that we see each year. And we spoke about this when Dan McKee was on. The only, you wouldn't know about those differentiations in each batch unless you turn the bottle around and you read the fine print in the back. A lot of folks think that each batch is the same, and that's just not true at all. They use different mashes. They use different grains. This year, we see the caramel malt and the Shanks, which I'm really excited to try. I do like caramel malt when it pops up here and there. And then on top of that, you have the Bombergers, which mostly people like because of the higher proof point. However, for the first time last year, I liked the Shanks over the Bombergers because it was an absolute butterscotch bomb, toffee bomb. Absolutely loved it. So, yeah, I'm excited for those two. Michters don't miss with these. Yeah, I think so too. How hard will these be to find? Last year, those two sat around a good amount. So even if it's a popular item in some areas, there's some areas where you could be able to find them. So some of the Bombergers is using malted rye again, and I'm out. The 2023 was such a letdown and unfortunate shift in profile. Yeah, the Bombergers for me last year just wasn't as good as the Shanks. Oh, but the Shank Burger. That's right. If you know, you know. It's all about the Shank Burger. That blend last year was, yes, it was all of it. That's what I want. Under the radar. I don't know if I believe they're under the radar. Hey, what's up, Jeff? Nice to see you, man. What's up with the camera angle? What do you mean the camera angle? What's wrong with the camera angle? James Lay is just saying this now. What's going on? What do you mean? I've been on for over an hour. You're just saying this now. What do you mean? What's going on? Okay. There was a ton of both here in Central Florida last year. Yeah, hard truth to the caramel malt for sure. Bomb Shanks, you asked for it. The master drum, yeah, pretty much. Adelia, what's up, Adelia? Nice to see you, man. Okay, let's go with the next one. This is a bottle that has garnered some attention since the announcement, and it's this new Remis. So Remis from Ross and Squibb partnered with the estate of Babe Ruth to release a bourbon devoted to the baseball legend. This is the Remis Babe Ruth Reserve. So on Tuesday, Remis Bourbon announced the release of a new bourbon devoted. Yeah, we saw that. The Great Bambino, the Sultan of Swat, the Colossus of Clout. I just want to watch The Sandlot right now after reading that. Remis Babe Ruth Reserve is a special collector's release inspired by one of the most iconic figures in American history, the immortal Babe Ruth. Ross and Squibb brand manager Allison O'Brien said in a news release, Remis is inspired by the finest bourbon of the 1920s, and partnering with the finest baseball player of the 1920s gives bourbon and baseball fans a unique and memorable way to celebrate America's pastime. So 10,624 bottles of this will be on deck, pun intended. The bottles will roll out to shelves in July, so this month, next month here, at a minimum suggested retail price of $150 per 750 milliliter bottle. As far as what's in it, let me see. Do we have it? Okay, here we go. It's a blend of 3 high rye bourbons aged between 6 and 7 years and bottled at 111 proof. So 6 and 7 years, 111 proof, $150. I think they went a little bit too high on that one. Bourbon looks light. Oh, never mind. It's this stupid hotel TV I'm watching on. Oh, sorry. Okay, James. There's your top 5 for the evening. Top 5 sports movies. Oh, Josh Fritz. Yes. Top 5 sports movies. Let's remember that for the top 5. I'm about to do this blind here. Yeah, $100 and $150 for 6 to 7 year. I think what you're paying for, obviously, is the Babe Ruth collaboration. You're paying for the new bottle design. That's a brand new bottle design. We haven't seen that from Ross and Squibb, but a 6 to 7 year at 111 proof. Unless those are like, honey barrels, and that's a really good release. We'll see what happens. But right now, between the price and the age, it's a little bit underwhelming for me. You guys seem to agree. So yeah, we'll see. Well, look at Jamie and possibly David just sneaking into the stream. Oh, we got Whiskey Row here. Where's Whiskey Row at? Nice to see you guys. If you guys are here, David and Jamie, nice to see you guys. Hopefully you're all recovered from all the Elijah Craig barrel proof. So what Elijah Craig barrel proof won the blind? I'm curious from your last stream. Either Jeff Durrell, Jamie, David, whoever wants to spill the tea in the chat. Okay. So we have that. Next up is one bottle we just kind of talked about a little bit, which was the new Maker's Mark. So here's a picture of it if nobody has seen it yet. So Maker's Mark unveils the latest bourbon in wood finishing series dubbed the Heart Release. This bourbon celebrates the team that distills our whiskey, our people who sit at the heart of Maker's, guiding and setting the tone for so much of what we do. Bottled at 56.3% ABV, so you're looking at about 112.6 proof for that one. The Heart Release is finished with 10 virgin oak staves. According to the Bourbon Review, Maker's Mark, the Heart Release will be available from U.S. retailers starting in July. Actually, it looks like it's a little bit sooner than that, with a suggested retail price of about $75. Maker's Mark released BRT 1 and 2 previously in its wood finishing series in 2022. The code. Okay, so here's something interesting. So BRT 1 and BRT 2, the BRT, came from the practice of the hand barrel rotation. So that's what the BRT stood for, and the way the temperature affects the whiskeys. Now the code for the Heart Release is BR22A. So if there is a correlation there, I don't know, but I've heard nothing but good things about this release so far, but we'll see when I get it. And lastly, Heaven Hill dropped this on the news sphere, the whiskey sphere. They're releasing a new line of grain to glass whiskeys over 8 years in the making. So Heaven Hill announced on Wednesday the release of a new line of whiskeys, Heaven Hill Grain to Glass. The line debuts with a bourbon, a wheated bourbon, and a rye. So according to Heaven Hill, this idea was over 8 years in the making and spearheaded by Mark Shapiro, partnered with Beck's Hybrids, a seed company with a history dating back to 1937. So Heaven Hill says its master distiller works with Beck's Hybrids each year to choose a distinctive corn seed to create the right profile for Heaven Hill Grain and Glass. The chosen seed is then grown at Peterson Farms in Nelson County, Kentucky. It implements a different mash bill from the brand's traditional bourbon and wheated bourbon mash bill. So different from your, Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond, and different from your, the rye whiskey and the larcenies. So these are different mash bills. So Heaven Hill Grain to Glass bourbon, 52 corn, 35 rye, and 13 malted barley, bottled at 107 proof. Grain to Glass wheated bourbon is 121 proof, 52% corn, 35% wheat, and 13% malted barley. And the Grain to Glass rye whiskey is 123.2 proof. You're looking at 63% rye, 24% corn, and 13% malted barley. I don't see, let's see. I don't see pricing on these quite yet. Did I miss that part? Nope, I do not see pricing on this yet, but it was announced. So we'll have to wait to see what the pricing looks like on these. What do you think, guys? Is this kind of is this exciting? Is this kind of meh for you? What do you think? I love when distillers, especially ones that have been around for years, you know, are still messing around with different mash bills, which is pretty cool. Oh, great! The big boys are now making craft whiskey. Yeah, I can see that. I like that. I like that they're using the cellar age bottle for limited release. Yeah, I love the cellar age bottle for sure. Blend of BRT and FAE equals farts. Oh, Jesus. The Mash and Drum, the good batch of the C923 came in last. Yep, see, there you go. My point exactly. Done. I'm good to go. That's all I needed to hear. Yeah, it's... I know I keep harping on it, and I'm sorry, but it's not that I believe that there isn't a distinction between a couple different of the laser codes, and I get it. I mean, I did the tasting here, but I did that tasting also, again, outside of that, and I was just getting different results. But what bothers me mostly is that the one that's supposedly the bad one is considered bad. Like, that's the bad batch of Elisha Craig. And the bad one was the bottle that I fell in love with. It ended up in, like, my top 5. So I actually kind of take it a little personally when it's considered the bad batch, when it's not the bad batch by any means. So I don't know. I'm just saying. I think that it's subjective. It depends on what you're drinking, and that's why I think it's bullshit. So, all right, there you go. I'm sure there's a difference, but I'm also sure the change in my palate day to day is far bigger. Yep. Hey, what's up, Ben? Nice to see you, man. Thank you. Trying to be sexy. Let's see. I think the grain to glass thing is mostly marketing. I'll still buy it if I see it. Okay. All right, a couple new labels that came out. Widow Jane Black Opal, aged 20 years. A blend of straight bourbon whiskeys, batch 1. Looks like it's coming out. This is a new line extension, it looks like, called the Black Opal, aged 20 years. 2024 release. This looks to be a blend of Kentucky and Tennessee. So, because it says Kentucky and Tennessee bourbon bottled by Widow Jane Distillery. So this looks like it's it could be a blend of both. So I guess we'll see. And for those of you looking for some really good reading material, Malort is coming out with a book, Josh Noel, The Redemption of a Revered and Reviled Spirit. I got to tell you, I might buy this book to read it. I want to learn more about Malort, where the hell this freaking whiskey came from. So just saying, it could be something fun to do. Yep. Oh my God, that's pretty funny. All right, and yeah, I think that's it. So let's get into the blind tasting here. Oh wait, I didn't even try this yet. Before we do the blind. Oh man. All right. I'm buying that book right now. I'm positive that B524 will be an interesting investment at System Trend. I'll read about it, but still won't drink it. Oh my God, man, that is so good. Dude, this might be even better than all of them. There's like a root beer note I'm getting in this one. Jeff, if you're still in the chat, Jeffrey Wack, did you open this yet? Did you try this one yet? I'm just curious. Yeah, 8 year. This is 100 proof, non-chill filtered, 8 year rye. This has some really nice sweetness here. This is good. I'm drinking my B524 now. Awesome. Yeah, I think it's a really, really good batch. The B524. Again, I don't think it's anything super exceptional, but I think it's good. Izzo's Place. A friend in Pennsylvania is almost legal on his farm to bottle whiskey. I'll send samples out when the whiskey tour is. I follow up when I can. Jeff has been through a few bottles of that. Root beer, you say. Not unlike the Sagamore 8 year. The Sagamore 8-year, I think, is more fruit forward. This is still more savory. Oh, Dylan S. Yeah, that's what is it? It's 10:26. All right, I have 4 minutes. Just working for you guys. Just working for you. Have you had the Larceny? I haven't had the Larceny B524 yet. I actually haven't even seen it yet. I think it's coming. I think it's actually coming to Ohio this weekend. So I might try to grab that one. The Sagamore on the 8-year I like better. Steve Johnson. Yeah, it's hard to tell. Yeah, the Sagamore 8-year just has a super fruit forward profile for a rye whiskey. And that's something that the new Riff doesn't have, but that doesn't mean the new Riff is worse. It just depends on what type of rye you like. Hey, BT is here. Yeah, it's more savory. It's definitely more on the rye side of things. With that 95.5 type, flavor profile it's got. But I love that dark, root beer kick you get on the very end. Really good spice. The Sagamore, on the other hand, being a blend of the high rye and low rye mash bills. Yeah, the Sagamore is just freaking killer. There's a reason why this won my rye of the year. This thing is just stupid. Yeah, it's the Sagamore 8-year all the way. It has a deeper. I mean, talk about this is root beer, but it's like root beer and cherry cola together in the Sagamore 8-year. It's so stupid good. I'm gonna make that an official rating. If Jason gives it a stupid good rating, you should buy it. I don't know when Sagamore 9-year's dropping, so. I'll tell you what, though, Sagamore is about to release their first grain to glass, all Maryland-grown rye whiskey really soon. So exciting times. All right, so after all this rye whiskey tonight, we're about to get into a bunch of bourbons that are finished. Maybe some rye in there too. So because I love the Amrut collaboration so much, I decided to put some of my favorite Bardstown Bourbon Company collabs into a blind tasting tonight. Listen, I'm not going to mess around here, and I'm going to be honest. I have one bottle of the original Chateau de Labaude. The original MGP. What was it? 12, 13-year Armagnac finish thing. That's the GOAT. I don't care what anybody. That is the GOAT. I have one bottle left. It's unopened, and I was unwilling to open it for this tour tonight. But say what you want. That's number one always. I don't care what anybody says. So I had a feeling that even if I did put that in there, it was going to just stand out, and it was going to be number one. That thing is probably one of, if not, it's definitely like a top 5 best finished whiskey of all time. I don't care what anybody says. Now, what I have in here tonight is to see what's up there with the Chateau de Labaude. What gets that second slot? So tonight I have the Copper and Kings Sherry Bomb. I have the Bardstown. This is the Goose Island. Now, this is the first Goose Island. This was the one that released in Chicago, the higher proof one before they re-released it, in a more of a bigger expansion. I have the Furcullen, Stacey Stern's favorite, finished in Furcullen Irish whiskey barrels. I have the Amaro Nonino, which is finished in Amaro cask from Italy. I had to put that one in there. We got the old Pfeiffer Pavitt. Of course, we have the Amrut, which I love so much. We have the Plantation rum finish. And last but not least, The Bardstown Doisy Dane. This thing is incredible. I believe this is Sauternes. Is this Sauternes? Finished in, Sauternes and toasted oak. This thing is pretty damn delicious. So that is the blind tonight. It's going to be a little bit crazy. So let's see what we get. We're just going to go. It's going to be weird to like do all these different finishes just to see. That's a 21 year for Cullen. No contest. Oh, okay. Cool. We'll see how it does. It might do good, Stacy. I don't know. Putting all these finished whiskeys into a blind is probably not smart, but I figured might be fun to do. And in the meantime, I'm going to have to think of my top 5 sports movies of all time. Because, I mean, why not? Wait, I got to just use the ones with the stickers. That doesn't have a sticker. That would have messed me up. Sticker, 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 and then hopefully one more sticker here. Yep, we're good. All right, I got them all. All right. Kind of, I'll mix them up a little bit more because I did look underneath. I don't really want to know specific letters. So, here comes the debate. Rudy, Field of Dreams, Major League. Here it comes. Everybody's got their opinion. So, you have the 100 proof. Hoosiers. Oh, man, there's so many good ones. Okay. Waterboy. JG, Waterboy. We can like break this down into like comedy sports movies, and then you have like the serious ones that that are kind of in the mix. So I'll have to think about it a little bit, but let's get into this blind tasting, guys. And again, thanks so much for hanging out tonight. Really appreciate it. Oh, man. Look how dark this one is, guys. Look at this thing. Like, are you kidding me? That's crazy. Remember the Titans, replacement. Oh, my God. Everybody is little. Yeah, Ron Miles kind of going in there. Yeah, yep. For comedy movies. I see some ones that are going to be on my list, Ron, in there. A couple of them. All right. Is it Rudy a comedy? Yeah, that'll be tough, man. There's so many good sports movies. Oh my gosh, there's so many good ones. This one is all raisin and chocolate. To be honest, this is so good. This could be the Copper and Kings one. Oh my gosh. It's all raisins, chocolate, hazelnut, oak. Holy shit. That's the first one. These others have some work to do after that one. I'm just saying. Did you guys hear about a Happy Gilmore 2 potentially? Is that happening? Big Vic, the longes that for the win. What are you talking? Are you speaking Spanish? I don't know what that means. Oh, the longest yard. Got it. Okay, the longest yard. Replacements, unnecessary roughness, for the love of the game. All right, let's start with serious movies first. Serious movies, sports movies. Man, number 1's really good. All right, let's go to number 2 here. Oh, number 2's got some. All right. I think so. Comedy movies. Now, you guys got to remember, I'm 46 years old, so some of these may go back a ways because I grew up watching them. So Number 5 for me, because I saw this movie when I was pretty young and I could appreciate it now probably more. But number 5 for me, as far as a serious movie, would probably be The Natural with Robert Redford. The Natural, it's because I saw it when I was like really getting into playing baseball. Yeah, that movie for me, it definitely made an impact. So I'd probably put The Natural number 5 for me. It'd probably be higher on the list for most folks, but I'd probably do number 5. Wow. This is all peaches. Peaches and cream all day long on that one. Peaches and cream. Your list sucks already, says Kraken. No, definitely. So serious movies, yeah. Man, how do we even rank these? What would be my number 1 serious movie, to be honest? I'll probably put Field of Dreams number 4. Field of Dreams is probably up there. Yep, Field of Dreams. Man, number 3, Creed 2. Yeah, Creed's not making it. Creed's not making it. Man, yeah, I don't know. Like, I'd probably have to put Rudy number 3 because Rudy makes me cry every time I watch that movie. Something about when they lift him up on the. See, I know Hoosiers would probably be up there for a lot of people, but growing up, I just wasn't into basketball yet, so that movie didn't resonate with me as much. So yeah, I would probably put Rudy up there. We're just going through the serious ones right now. We're going to do comedy ones here soon. Number 2, a movie that I've watched a million times that I love would probably be Miracle. The story of the Olympic hockey team. Love that movie. Love that movie so much. And number 1 would probably, honestly, I hate to, play the Italian role, would probably be Rocky. Rocky number 2. When he wins the championship. Rocky 3, and I'm going to admit this, Rocky 3 was the first movie that ever made me cry. Come on, guys, admit it in the chat. What was the first movie that ever made you tear up as a kid, teenager, whatever it was? I mean, I could, another great football movie that I like, I mean, we could go around with this all day, is, Varsity Blues. I see people put in there, love Varsity. I watch that movie whenever it's on. I also watch Friday Night Lights, the movie with Boobie Miles. I love that. I think that's a great football movie too. Remember the Titans, I think I would put up there. When Mickey dies. Tuning back in, not sure. Brian's song, I just didn't. Oh, Brian's song made you cry. Homeward Bound. Old Yeller made a lot of people cry. John Ferret says Monsters Inc. made him cry. Did it make you cry when the girl had to go back to, when he had to send her back? Old Yeller. 2 is all peaches and cream. I'm wondering if that's the Furcullen, maybe. That thing is all peaches and cream. Oh my God, Karate Kid made you cry. Bambi. Bambi. Yeah. Jerry Maguire, really? Why? When he said, "You complete me," did that get you? But Rocky 3, when Mickey dies, I never thought I'd ever see, I thought I'd never see like Rocky cry like that and sob. And it just got to me when Mickey died. These bourbon reviews are better, funnier, and cheaper than going to the movies. Thanks, Randall. Appreciate it. We Are Marshall. Oh, We Are Marshall. I think that's a really underrated movie for sure. One of my favorite movies growing up that I used to watch was Slapshot. You guys remember Slapshot? What was the movie with Patrick Swayze and Rob Lowe, the hockey movie? With Racky. I think, didn't we talk about this with Racky or Recky? What was that movie? Let's go to number 3 here. Yeah, but like this part in Rudy always gets me. It's literally this exact part. Like, oh my God, I'm ready to cry right now. Like, it just gets me. It's crazy, man. Oh my gosh. Oh, Youngblood. Yes, Youngblood. Great movie. Great movie. Oh, number 3 is nice. Oh, The Program, Josh Fritz. So I was in high school and I was playing football when The Program came out. And we as a team, we all went to go see that movie together. The movie's pretty, it's bad, but it has its moments that are just freaking kick-ass. Yeah, Slapshot, yep. Except it's Notre Dame. Yeah, I get it, Ron. Except it's Notre Dame. Yeah, to hell with Notre Dame. Chariots of Fire. All right, comedy ones. Let's get into the comedy movies here. Wait, hold on. Let me try to finish out number 3 here. Oh, Blue Chips. Great call on that. That was good. That was one with Shaq. That was one with Penny Hardaway. Wow. Number 3 has like this rich graham cracker. It's like graham cracker with some kind of like dark fruit marmalade on it or something. Oh my God, that's really good too. I think I like that over the Peach Bomb, which was number 2. All right. Caddyshack, for sure. And my comedy one, for sure. Caddyshack, definitely. I'm not going to try to put them in an order here. But Caddyshack's up there. Shit. What was the one that was just in my head? Major League for sure. Love that movie. That's definitely my top 5. Probably Happy Gilmore would be up there too. I love Happy Gilmore. I watched that so many times. Love Happy Gilmore. Oh, man. Truman. I totally remember that line from that movie. Oh my God. So Truman, I had an uncle, my Uncle Joey had Down syndrome. And every time I watch that movie, it just makes me think of him because it's like something he would have said. Every time I watch that movie, it just like tears me up just because of that fact. It always reminds me of my Uncle Joey who had Down syndrome. I lost him when I was, I think I was 16, 17 when he passed away. Maybe a little older than that. Maybe I was like 20. I don't even remember. That whole like time in my life was such a blur because losing him was one of the toughest things I ever went through, along with losing my grandmother. But those two. But my Uncle Joey, whenever I see that movie, and I don't know, I just think about him. But that line kills me in that movie every time, for sure. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. We have Major League. We have Happy Gilmore. We have Caddyshack. Let's go to. I gotta think about my next one. All right. Let's go to this one first. Oh, this one's rich. F you, Joe Boo. I do it myself. Oh, this one is super rich on the nose. Oh, Little Giants. How could I forget? Little Giants with Al Bundy, Rick Moranis, those kids. I love that movie. Little Giants is definitely up there in the top 5 for me. Man, what would be my number 1, though? What's the sports movie that just cracks me up? That's it. Number 1, Sandlot. Number 1 has got to be Sandlot for me. I could watch that movie any day of the week at any given moment. Sandlot, number 1. Holy shit. Number 4 is Steve Johnson. Weren't you like 30 when that came out? What, The Sandlot? When did Sandlot come out? Somebody look it up. What year did Sandlot premiere? I think I taste some Dickel in this one. Maybe. All right, let's go number 7. This one's light. Whatever this one is. This one's really light. Not much going on in this one. That is orange and maple syrup. Wow, that's really sweet. Really sweet. Angels in the Outfield. 1993. You were 15. Yeah, there you go. 15. Did you see Rich Eisen interview with the great Bambino actor? Yeah, I did see that, John. I love watching Rich Eisen. Rich Eisen, if you ever watch my podcast, if you ever watch my live show, you're the man. Even though he's a stout Yankees fan, I still love the way he story tells. I'll watch him over like Stephen A. Smith or any of those guys that scream on TV any day of the week. This is another citrus forward one. It's not as peachy as number 2, but this one's a little bit more maple syrup. Maple syrup and... Man, what is that? Maple syrup and... I think orange. There's a lot of orange there too. Okay. Let's go to number 6. Oh, The Replacements. Such a good movie, man. Shane Falco. Yeah, I don't think it gets much better than Rich Eisen and Stuart Scott when they were together back in the day, for sure. Man. The Rookie with Dennis Quaid. Blue Crush. Wow, 6 is super floral. Wow, super floral on number 6. Any Given Sunday. Yeah, I like that one. But it's not, I wouldn't call that like a top tier football movie for me. Dodgeball is hilarious, of course. No one makes me bleed my own blood. So many good lines in that movie, in Dodgeball. It's like insane how many good lines there were. Who's Steve the Pirate? Arr. Wow. It almost comes off like a little bit of like a gin. There's a berry. I wonder if that's the Amaro. Good, but still not my favorite out of these. Would Point Blank be one surfing? I mean, maybe. I don't know if I... Ooh. Holy shit. This smells really good. Shout out to my boy Howie from Benchwarmers. Oh, Benchwarmers is, I think, is a little underrated too. McFarlane's really good. Here's a movie. If you guys want to... I'm not going to say it's going to bawl your eyes out, but damn, what is the name of that movie? It's going to make me crazy. Movie about... Okay. The movie is called Greater. Has anyone seen Greater? Anyone seen that movie? It's about Brandon Bolesworth, the lineman who was told he never played Division I, worked his ass off, made it, got drafted by the Indianapolis Colts. And then I don't want to ruin the movie or the story if no one has seen it, but if you guys have never seen the movie Greater, it's a must-watch. It's a must-watch. I'm just saying. It's gonna tug at your heartstrings, but it's a watch. You can thank me later for that one. I got to go back to this number 7. Number 7 smells fantastic. Oh man, this smells really good. This is probably the first one I've run into that's like heavy cherry. Oh, man. That's got, ooh, a little smokiness to it. That's like this tastes like a smoked Manhattan in a glass. That is, which one is that? That's really, really good. League of Their Own, I feel like needs to be in there. Pride of the Yankees is just next level. It's the Chateau de la Baude one of sports movies. Pride of the Yankees. Yeah, I mean, even though I hate the Yankees, I would give that movie some respect for sure. Anybody ever see 61? 61 was a great movie. I think it was like on HBO. It was the story of Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris chasing Babe Ruth's home run record. That was like the whole, thing about the asterisk, and when Roger Maris broke it, because there were more games played that year than when Babe Ruth broke the record. Wade Ward, Greater was the first movie that made you cry. Really, Wade Ward? Okay. Moneyball, great movie too. What the hell is that? You could do a top 5 for each sport. So many great sports movies. That's true. You could do a top 5 football movie. I mean, Longest Yard. The Replacements. I mean, yeah. Friday Night Lights. I mean, The Mighty Ducks. As far as hockey movies go, man, I don't know. Mighty Ducks could be underrated. Fever Pitch, Eric Anderson. Fever Pitch was all right. My favorite part of Fever Pitch is when the Red Sox beat the Yankees at the end. That's my favorite part. This one's also very super rich. Okay, so we have some outliers here. I would say number 1 is up there. Number 2, good, but it's very light. It's very delicate and nuanced, but compared to these other ones, it just doesn't measure up. So this one will kind of fall back. Number 3. Number 3, I think, has some really good flavors. But again, that one's pretty good too. Chocolatey, I think. Let's go to number 4. This one's very deep and dark. I like 4 a lot. I think I like 4 over 2 and 3. So 2 and 3 are kind of falling behind. 1 and 4 are a couple of leaders here. Stronger, the one about the Boston Marathon bombing. Oh, yeah, I think I saw that. What was the one with Mark Wahlberg they did about the Boston Marathon? I think Kevin Bacon was in that one, too. That was a pretty good movie. Was that Patriots Day, I think it was called? All right, so 1 and 4 from the first 4 are my top. So I'm just gonna kind of shift. Well, I'm just gonna leave it. You know what? I'll mark it here. So one is probably that one. All right, so 1 and 4 are up there. Let's go to 5. 5 for me was the maple syrup orange one. Almost comes off like a lemon tea compared to the other ones. Maple syrup, it's very light. Not one of my favorites, but very, very sweet overall. Let's go number 6. Number 6 is super floral. Very different. Probably the most unique out of all of them is number 6. Well, I mean, number 7 too is pretty unique too, but still very, very light on the back end. But I still like that one. That one would probably be like a top, maybe top 3, top 4 finisher here for me. Let's go to 7. I really liked. If I remember, oh man, 7 is just fantastic on the nose. Oh my gosh. Yeah, 7's up there for me. And lastly, number 8. Number 8 is just crazy. Teen Wolf. Yeah, Teen Wolf was kind of a basketball movie-ish. A little bit. Oh my God. 8 is so good too. 8 is just... 8 is really rich in flavor like number 1. So, all right. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to put 2 and 3. 2 is the peaches one. 3 is okay. 5 for me was really light. That's kind of like the maple sugar. That one was probably the lightest one. So I'll probably put 3 last so far. Let me put that aside. I'll kind of keep that there. Now the ones that are left, 1, 4, 6, 7, 8. That's a lot. Man, we're getting down to it. Oh my God, 1 is just an absolute flavor bomb. But it's a little bit one note. It's just really raisins and chocolate all day long. I like it a lot. Man, the finish on it though is incredible. 1 is a leader in the clubhouse right now. 4. Not as strong as 1, so I think 4 is still behind 1. 6. 6 is that floral one. I think that one will go here. So it's really these is my top 4. Blaze of Glory. That's actually that's a good movie. I dig Blaze of Glory. 1 sounds like Goose Island. You think 4-leaf? I don't know. 1 is very raisins and chocolate. I think 1 is the Copper and Kings, which is one of the earliest collabs they did, and it's just a absolute cherry bomb. That's what I think we got here. I think this one could be the Goose Island possibly, because I'm getting a lot of chocolate on here. Could also be the Pfeiffer Pavitt though too. I don't know. Let's go to this one. I like this one a lot. Whatever this one is, I'm going to move that one ahead of that one. And then we have this last one. This one is really weird and crazy, and I really like it. Yeah, I think that's my ranking right now. I think it's these. All right, that's my ranking. Let's see what we got. Over the top. The Goose Island is all fudge. It's all fudge. It's crazy too, Nathan, because in doing this blind, nothing came off to me as like super fudgy. So when you're doing all these different, finishes in a blind, it doesn't come out as it would when you have it on its own. So, all right, guys, let's find out what my last place collab was. This is letter A. Let's go to the list. I should probably pull this out here. Letter A goes to... This is not surprising at all. This goes to the... Oh, shit, I gotta find it. Which one are you? I know the color of the label. Where are you at? What the hell? Am I thinking it's a different color than it actually is? Oh, there it is. Right here. Last place goes to the Bardstown Plantation Rum. This was the one that I said was kind of maple syrup and orangey, and there you go. I think that's why. But this one I wasn't a huge fan of when it came out. So yeah. Oh yeah, Space Jam. Space Jam was an unbelievably good movie too. All right, so last place goes to the Bardstown Plantation. 7th place goes to letter H, which belongs to really. This is one of those ones where I like probably a lot more on its own. And this is the Bardstown Doisy Dane. This is the Sauternes and Toasted Oak one. And that's surprising because on its own, I love this whiskey, but I think in the flight, it just fell a little bit flat. But this is one. I think this is one of the better ones that they've done. I actually thought this would do a lot better in the blind, to be honest. But I think maybe I don't know. Maybe it was that toasted oak note that got me. All right. 6th goes to letter C. Letter C. That's the peaches one. I said I think that is the. That's not it. Sorry, Stacy, but C goes to the Fir Cullen. C is the Fir Cullen. As soon as I tasted the peaches and the kind of like that peachy apricot, I kind of knew that this had to be the Fir Cullen. Again, it's one of those labels that's really nice on its own, but it's a more of a delicate collaboration. So yeah, Fir Cullen. All right, we're getting down to it now. Letter E is 5th place, and that goes to. So I was right about that one. I said that was the one that was very floral. I guess that could have been the Amaro Nonino, which is the Italian Amaro cask. And again, a lot of these guys, it's just because they're all collaborations and because they're kind of better on their own. I mean, I actually really like this one. I got a second bottle of this because I liked it so much. But in a blind, I think it just kind of really sticks out. So. All right. I got peaches on that too. Says 4 Leaf still number 1 in my half. Yeah, I got totally peaches there. All right. So now we're down to the top 4. Letter D. The D is. I did say it could be the Pfeiffer Pavitt, but I'm not sure if it was that one or one of the others ones. But D goes to. That's not it. Is that it? Yeah, D goes to the Pfeiffer Pavitt. And this one, out of all of them, had probably the most Dickel influence that I could taste. But I will say that the wine influence on here definitely kind of outshined it a little bit. So Scooby-Doo Batch 2, yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that one. So yeah, it was very confusing on the palate, but I felt like I was able to pick out some of them. I definitely picked out the Fir Cullen. I definitely picked out the Amaro Nonino. And I think I picked out the Pfeiffer Pavitt just based on the Dickel. So, all right, top 3. What do we have left? We have the Copper and Kings, the Amroot, and what's the third one? I don't know. What's this one? What's letter B? Oh, shit. B is... Really? Okay. B is the Goose Island. So the first Goose Island, the high proof one, is the one that ended up making in the top 3. And this totally makes sense for me because I love this bottle. I think this is one of the best collabs that they have ever done. And I wish the bigger Reach release was just as good as this one. I felt like the second release kind of fell off a little bit, but yeah, now it's like, now that I know what it is, I could taste the fudge and all that other good stuff, but it's so good. So that means we have the Amroot and the old school Copper and Kings, the newest and one of the oldest. I think number 1 is Copper and Kings because that is an absolute sherry bomb. So letter F is, let's get it. These are my top 2, folks, right here. The Amroot and the Copper and Kings. Now, the Copper and Kings, you can't get anymore. This thing is gone. But it is a deep, rich, dense sherry bomb that was so good. I think highly underrated here. But look how dark that is, guys. You can't even see through that bottle. It is so friggin' dark. Delicious. This is as dense and as dark as a whiskey gets, and I absolutely love it. But the Amroot coming in number 2 tonight, and this is still available, guys. If you want smoked cherry, just deliciousness in your glass, this Amroot, this is a top 5 whiskey for me so far this year. It's different. It's unique. It's a flavor bomb. Don't sleep on it. That's all I'm going to tell you. So the Amroot did as good as I thought it would. The Goose Island went far. I think the biggest surprise to me was the Doisy Dane. I thought that Doisy Dane one would at least be in the top 3. So kind of a surprise on that front. But overall, I mean, say what you want about Bardstown Bourbon Company and the collaborations. Yes, they can be a little bit pricey. But when you hit on one that's good, it could be very well worth it. And I think the Amroot this year is a good example of that. So I'm not going to blend all these because it's going to be disgusting. So don't ask me to blend them all. I'm not doing it. So with that said, thank you guys so much for hanging out tonight. Thanks again for all the support. Keep an eye out for my video this Friday. You're gonna finally see the triple bass recording, Michter's 10-year versus the Wild Turkey Masters Keep Triumph versus the Knob Creek 10-year. See which one wins out. And yeah, a lot more fun content on the way. See you guys next week right here on the Master and Drum. And again, like I always say, it's not about the whiskey, it's the people you share it with. Again, big prayers for the family of Scott Pigsley, 5th Quarter Tailgate. Everybody say some prayers for him and his family tonight as he joins the Angels and watching over all of Whiskey Tube, keeping us all safe. So cheers to all you guys. Love all of you. And I'll see you next week right here on the Master and Drum. Cheers, folks. Thanks for another great night.